What's up YouTube, BigSweetC here with you. Got a special little video for you. One, I want to say I am glad to be back. I do apologize that it's been a little while since I put out another video. The reason I've been doing this is, the truth is, I've been overwhelmed with politics lately, and well, it drives me crazy because, we live in such a polarized world where common sense has literally been thrown out the window, and it's all about the gotcha moment and the 15-second sound bite and the who's who and the blaming and all this stuff. But it's over now, at least for another 4 years. Thank the Lord. Looks like we're gonna have Joe Biden as our president. I know there's still a bunch of stuff going on in the courts and all this stuff, and Trump is not conceding, and they're gonna do recounts and all this stuff. I know all that's going on, but with everything that, when it's all said and finished, it looks like Joe Biden is going to be our next president. The 46th president of the United States, I believe, is what he'll be. Now that that's over, I can finally relax a little bit, hopefully. But then again, at the same time, we can't. So where do we go from here? Now, I'm not going to say one way or the other whether, I preferred Biden or preferred Trump or whatever. That's not what this video is about. We're moving forward from that. We're going to assume that Joe Biden is going to be the president, because that's probably what's going to happen. We're talking 99.999% chance, unless for some reason Donald Trump does try to commit a coup here in America. Which, I mean, at this point with 2020 going on, anything is possible, I guess. But we're going to move forward as if Joe Biden is the president, and he is going to take over on January 20th. Now, a lot of people in my friend circle seem to think this is a very good thing. And while, depending on your viewpoint, it might be better than having Donald Trump for another 4 years, it's not something to celebrate. So there was, if you followed along at all, the polls showed that Joe Biden should have won by a massive landslide. The lowest prediction I saw with Joe Biden was, I think, 312 electoral college votes, and that was like the worst case scenario. He's going to finish with probably 302, so he did even worse than the worst prediction. That is not a victory. He's probably not going to get control of the Senate. He lost seats in the House. So it's still going to be predominantly Republican-controlled Congress with a Democratic president. And anybody who's followed politics for a little while knows that, well, we're gonna be led through more bipartisan gridlock. So Democrats are going to want to do one thing, Republicans are not going to want them to do it. Now, the one thing that they will agree on is whatever the Republicans want to do, Democrats are going to go with it. That's just who they are, and this is why we're in such a dangerous position now. 8 years ago, we elected a man named Barack Obama. He had Joe Biden as his VP. They went in on a blue wave, meaning not only did he win the election, meaning Barack Obama, but they also took over supermajority of the Senate and control of the House. They had absolute authority. They were given a mandate by the people of the United States to go in and create change in this systemic swamp that we've created for the last 40 years. What happened is you got 2 years of BSing from Barack Obama, and then they immediately lost control of the House. They then lost control of the Senate, and even though he was re-elected, they didn't get any of those seats back. In fact, they lost more seats in both the House and the Senate during re-election, and then even more during the midterms in his second term. So they had 2 years to do whatever they wanted. They actively chose not to, and then they were wiped out because people were like, we voted for you to do systemic change, and you've given us nothing but the same stuff that I could have voted for Mitt Romney for. The people saw that in 2016. That's why they actively voted against Hillary Clinton on the assumption that Donald Trump, as an outsider, maybe actually does something outside the norm. Now, whether you want to believe it's because of Democratic obstruction or because he's a con man, both are true. He did not govern the way he ran as a candidate. He governed as a generic Republican. And so people were, this time, less willing to take that risk, especially with all this other stuff going on. If it wasn't for COVID, if it wasn't for the fact that because of COVID, half the country is unemployed, we'd probably be looking at another 4 years of Donald Trump. And that's just the truth. That's just the absolute truth. And it's because Joe Biden is not a good politician. He was not a good choice for candidate. He's probably not going to be a very good president. And what I mean by that is, sure, he's not going to have the nice tweets, but he's not going to do what the people want. The vast majority of the country, 80% of the country, 70% of the country, in a Fox News poll, say they want government-run health care, universal Medicare for all. Joe Biden isn't there yet. So he is not representing the people. He might say he's going to govern like an American president, but he's not going to. That is a straight lie, because he does not agree with the vast majority of Americans. And if he does not agree with the vast majority of Americans, he is not going to represent the vast majority of Americans. You can already see him setting up for failure. He just picked who his chief of staff is going to be. It is an advisor from the Clinton years when Al Gore was VP and when he was VP for Obama. During the Clinton years, Clinton dismantled manufacturing in this country through NAFTA. He also deregulated Glass-Steagall, which led to the 2008 housing crash, which put so many people behind. Then in 2008, while he was an advisor with Obama, he made sure that those banks that were committing fraud got bailed out, while at the same time simultaneously making sure the people who were defrauded got kicked out of their homes so the banks could then resell those houses. Totally scummy guy. He was a venture capitalist. He was a lobbyist. He is the epitome of the swamp. And so what we're talking about is business as usual. And this is why this is such an important time period right now. This transition before he gets the actual chance to nominate these people to his cabinet, we have to put public pressure on him now. Once they're in office, that's it. He's not going to be a Donald Trump where he lets the news media decide whether he can keep this guy or he has to fire that guy or he shouldn't have gone with that guy or he shouldn't have gone with that guy or whatever. That is what we need to be doing to Joe Biden right now. We cannot let him put people in positions of power, because as soon as that happens, the media and everybody else goes to sleep and we get another 4 years of a Barack Obama do-nothing presidency. That is the absolute worst thing that could happen, because in 4 years, when they run re-election and Joe Biden has done nothing but Republican things, the Republicans will take the Trump playbook, this authoritarian figure playbook, run it with some guy who doesn't do the Twitter tantrums, and it will be impossible to stop him. Impossible. The only thing that Trump had going for him right now to stop any of his possible terrible ideas is the fact that so many people did not like him as a person. But if you let a Marco Rubio or a Ted Cruz or a Tom Cotton, people do not hate their personality like they hate Donald Trump's personality. They are going to be much, much, much more difficult to sway in one direction or the other than Donald Trump. That's just the way that people are. And so we are setting ourselves up for another decade of Republican dominance. And that is not a good thing. Now, I know Chuck Schumer is talking a lot of really important information. He wants us to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. He wants us to get rid of $50,000 of student debt. He wants us to invest in infrastructure. But then he finishes his argument by saying, I'm going to do everything I can. I can't snap my fingers and make it happen, but I'm going to do everything I can. That is coded language for, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to sit here, I'm going to say I'm for all these things, and then when they get blocked by a Republican Senate, I'm going to go, oh, what can I do? What can I do? That is a scapegoat in that language that he is setting you up for failure. Joe Manchin, Democrat from West Virginia, is on TV talking about how he is not with the radical left. The majority of the people are with the radical left. Florida voted for a $15 minimum wage, did not vote for Joe Biden. Colorado voted for 12 weeks of paid maternity leave. 6 or 7 states voted to decriminalize marijuana. Oregon decriminalized all drugs. 3 or 4 decriminalized psychedelics. People are generally with a progressive platform. The thing that is stopping us is these old bought and pay for politicians like Joe Biden and Joe Manchin and Donald Trump and Chuck Schumer. These people who have taken money from these big businesses for the sole purpose of stopping progress. We just re-elected that back into office. So now is more important than ever to make sure that they don't govern the same way and lead us to a more difficult to defeat Donald Trump. It is highly important. But that's all I'm going to say about that. Because this is an important period. Now, in about 2 years, there's going to be the midterms. So it's nonstop. It never stops. In 2 years, we're going to have a chance to kick out Chuck Schumer. Hopefully, word on the street, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez might be giving up her House seat to run for Senate in New York. She would be able to run against Chuck Schumer. That would be a good thing. Shahid Buttar in San Francisco is running against Nancy Pelosi. Dianne Feinstein is hopefully going to die sometime soon because she's like 90 and looks terrible. Now, I would never wish death on anybody, but she has personally benefited, her and Nancy Pelosi have personally benefited through the military-industrial complex. So they have personally enriched themselves and their family through the use of power, and that needs to be stopped. We do have opportunities, but it starts right now. It is not about waiting until he gets into office and seeing what they do. It is not about, they didn't wait to see if Bernie was going to win the primary. Bernie won the first 4 primaries this year, and then all of a sudden Obama had to step in, handpick Joe Biden, and then all of a sudden you've got everybody dropping out of the race to back Joe Biden. That's not a coincidence. That's not a, wow, what a strange thing to have happen. That is a built and designed for plot to make sure one candidate does not win. That's what that was. That was the epitome of pulling strings behind the scenes to make sure democracy goes in your favor. That is not direct democracy. That is faux democracy. They give you the illusion of choice when you don't really have one. And that's what we've got to stop. We've got to stop this pre-organized setup for failure. It starts right now, and it does not stop because politics never stops. Having said that, we're going to try and kind of move away from the politics a little bit on the channel because, again, I just need a mental break. So we're going to talk about other fun stuff. I've got some videos for The Last of Us 2. I kind of probably want to do some videos for Dark Souls 2 coming up as well. And then I've got another idea to reinstate the Let's Plays. But I'm going to do it a different way. We're going to do some more old school stuff. We'll probably start with the original Final Fantasy. Now it'll be It'll be the upgraded graphics version that was released on PlayStation 1. But it'll be a fun time nonetheless, because there are a bunch of old school games that I don't necessarily think work that well on stream, because if I'm streaming it, you have to watch me sit there and go through the grind of an RPG. But I think it'll work in a Let's Play because I can cut out a bunch of the needless stuff. So be on the lookout for that. And do me that favor, if you haven't yet, hit that like button, hit that sub button, hit that notification bell next to it. That way you know when I do drop another video or go live. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna kind of swing back over here to YouTube. So predominantly, I might jump over on Twitch every once in a while just to make sure that people know that it's not a fake channel. But for the most part, I think we're gonna swing back over here. So be sure to hit that like, sub, and notification bell. And as always, keep on keeping on. Either way, that's going to do it for this one. BigSweetC, that's me. Wishing YouTube, that's you. Wonderful day, night, morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it might be. As long as you're watching, I'm wishing you a wonderful watching time. Sweetness, signing off. Peace.